Howdy guys, Chris Zoupa, lovely to see you all again. How's it going? Have you all been well? How are you, Fancy97? Are you going to request another Avenged Sevenfold song again? Shout out to the guys always giving me crap. Anyway, today we're going to be looking at the delightful solo, one of three from Dystopia by Megadeth. It is a doozy, and we'll be looking at 2 and 3 very soon, just bear with me. But this one, this first solo, is particularly delicious. Let's take a look. Alright guys, before we get too excited, we just need to talk about the tuning. For this song, we're in D standard, which goes D, G, C, F, A, D. So get yourself in tune, and we'll get started. Alright guys, let's have a look at the first section. I want to start off by playing 2, 4, 5 on the 3rd string. I'm going to hit 5 again, and then I'm going to slide to 9. Give it some cheeky vibrato when you get there. Then I have a very similar idea. This time I'm going 4, 5, 7, still on the 3rd string. And then I slide from 7 to 12. Give it some cheeky vibrato when I get there again. So very similar vibe and timing on both of those phrases. Now the next thing I do, this next lick that I'm going to work through is like position 4 of the A minor pentatonic. So we're going to start off with a group of 5, and then it just sort of progresses in groups of 4. So I'm going to start off with this. So we'll slow that down. The first group of 5 I'm going to play 15 of the 5th string, and then I'm going to play 12, 14 on the 4th and the 3rd. Then I'm going to do a group of 4. I'm just going to repeat that 12, 14 from the 4th to the 3rd string. Okay? The next group of 4 I'm going to do is going to start from 14 of the 4th string, and then I play 12, 14 on the 3rd, and then play 13 of the 2nd. That goes like this. So we should have a group of 5 and 2 groups of 4. So as you can see as well, I'm working up that position of the 4th position of the A minor pentatonic. After that, I've got another group of 4. So that's playing 12, 14 on the 3rd, and then 13, 15 on the 2nd. At the end of that, so what I've got at the end of that is a bend up and back from 15 of the 2nd string, pulling off to 13, and then doing a bend vibrato from 15. So let's go through that A minor pentatonic lick, and then we'll work through it from the start, and then we'll put it together even slower with some tabs. Let's go right back to the start of the section and put it all together with tabs afterwards. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at the second section. We're going to start off with this cheeky little finger picking lick. If you don't use a pick like me and you're a weirdo, or you can put your pick somewhere, you can use your first 3 fingers, or you can use your pick and your middle and your ring. I don't mind. So we're going to start off with this little lick. We're going to be working through these little arpeggios. The first one I'm going to do is I'm going to play 14 of the 3rd string, 15 of the 2nd, and 17 of the 1st. I'm going to do that arpeggio twice. And then I'm just going to play the octave within that arpeggio. So I'm only going to play the 3rd and the 1st string. So I'm going to do 2 groups of 3 and then a group of 2. Okay, at the end of that sort of group of 2 octave, I'm going to slide over from 17 to 19. Okay, so that's going to take, those sort of themes are going to carry through most of this section, but we're going to mix up the amount we need of each. So the next group, I only do a 3-note arpeggio and then a 2-note arpeggio with the octave. So that's going to go like this. I'm playing 16, 17, 19, and then just the 3rd and the 1st string, which is the 16 and the 19. So we're going to go like this. At the end of that octave, I'm going to slide from 19 to 20. So we're going to have this. Let's go right back to the start now. Okay, very similar idea on the next group. So what I have here is I'm playing 17, 18, 20 from the third to the first string, and then the octave from the third to the first. But the end of that octave, I'm going to slide to 22. So let's have a look at what we should have thus far at a gentleman's pace. Okay, so we just slid into 22. Now the thing that's different about this part is I do the arpeggio and then jump to the octave 2 frets up. So it's not going to be in the same position. Our first arpeggio is going to play 19, 20 to 22. And then I do the octave from 21 to 24. So it'll go. Then from that point, I'm going to play 21, 22, 24 as the 3-note arpeggio and then the octave. So it'll go like this. And you'll notice at the end of that 24, I'm sliding to 19. So we're going to have this at the end. It's pretty weird. Let's go right back to the start and then we'll put the second half with it. Okay, very similar ideas here. That one's got a cheeky pull off at the end and some different stuff. So the arpeggio I'm going to be working with, I think we saw something quite similar to this before. I was playing 16, 17, 19, and then the octave. And then that slides over to 20. Okay? And what's different about this one is I do the 3-note arpeggio into the octave and then it pulls off. So I'm going to play 17, 18, 20, then the 17, 20 with the octave, and then that pulls off to 17 on the first string. At the end of that, I'm going to play a regular 20 and then 2 20 bends, but the second one we can add some sexy vibrato too. So we're going to have this. Hopefully that's all making sense. And then at the end of that, I'm leading from my pinky on the offbeat, which will get us prepared for section 3. So all I'm doing there is adding in a cheeky 17. So we'll go through the whole section, add in that cheeky 17, and that will help us roll into section 3. So let's go through all of section 2 nice and slow, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Okay, so we've just come out of that 17 note that we had at the end of section 2. We're going to start the third section by pulling off to the 12 of that string. At the end of that, I'm going to do a pull off, 14, 12, and then hammer back to 12 on the third string. So if we use the last note of section 2, we're going to have this. Okay, and I do a very similar idea. But this one's going to start with a hammer on pull off going 12, 17, 12. And then we're ending in the same way. So this is what we should have from the start of the section. At the end of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hammer 12 to 17 and then play 14 to 12 on the third string. At the end of that, so what I've got here, exactly the same lick twice. I'm going to hammer 15 to 20 and then pull off. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play 17, 16, 17 as a pull off into a hammer on. Okay, so let's have a look at what we've got from the start. Keep in mind we're going to be using the 17 from the end of section 2. At the end of that, what I've got here, I've got a hammer on from 15 to 20 and sliding to 22. And then at the end of that 22, I'm going to go down the octave to 19 of the third. At the end of that, so what I've got here is basically what would be in standard tuning an F major arpeggio. So what I'm doing is this. I'm doing a 6-note arpeggio playing 20, 17 on the first string, 18 of the second and 17 of the third. You can add a pull off at the start of that. And then I'm going back down to, what was that, 17 of the first string. So that's a 6-note arpeggio there. And then I can hammer in. So I've got 2 6-note arpeggios now. At the end of that, I hammer back into that 20 again. Now I'm only going to have a 4-note arpeggio. So we should have this now. Ending on that 4th note there. And then I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. What I've got here is I'm starting from 19 at the first string, and I'm going to play 19, 20, 19, 17. And that same kind of formation, I'm going to jump to the second string and play 17, 18, 17, 15. Then I jump to the third, very similar, 16, 17, 16, 14. Then when I jump to the 4th string, I'm going to play 14, 15, 14, 12. And then I'm going to play 12 of the 5th string, which is going to lead us into section 4. So this is, once again, we're going to kind of be borrowing a note to get us through to the next section. So let's go right back to the start of this section. I'll leave out that pull off at the start, and then we'll go from the 12 of the first string. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, last section, keep in mind that we're going to be having that 12th fret of the 5th string from the previous phrase. Now what we're going to deal with here, those kind of cliffs of Dover, I think they're called open triads. Anyway, they look like a power chord with an extra cheeky note. So we're going to borrow a 12 at the end of section 3, and I'm working basically through what would be in standard tuning kind of an A minor triad, just a couple of notes around the wrong way. So I'm going from that 12, and then I play 14 of the 4th and 13 of the 2nd string. You'll notice as well, I'm hybrid picking those notes at the top because doing that string skipping, crossing stuff really fast can be a bit of a pain in the ass. I dare say he might be doing that, but if not, I recommend it. It is a cheeky way to get around. So after we go to 13 of the 2nd string, I'm going to jump back to 14 of the 4th. It should sound like this. At the end of that, I'm going to play 12, 13, 15, 16, and then slowly bend that 16 up. And add just a little bit of bend at the top of that semitone. This is what we should have from the start. Very similar idea now, but I'm going to take what would be in standard tuning a C major kind of open triad idea. Got a power chord going from 15 of the 5th to 17 of the 4th, and then the major 3rd is hitting 17 of the 2nd string. Okay, and then I jump back from that hybrid pick to the 4th string. At the end of that, what I'm doing here is playing 15, 17, 18, 19, and then the 19 once again. We're kind of bending that weird gross outside note up a semitone, adding some sexy vibrato. Let's have a look from the start now. And then we've got, that would be F major, wouldn't it? So what I have here is I'm playing 20 on the 5th and 22 on the 4th, and then the major 3rd is hitting 22 of the 2nd string. Once again, I'm going from the 5th to the 4th to the 2nd, after that hybrid pick, back to the 4th. At the end of that, let's slow that down. I'm going to play 20 to 22 on the 2nd string. At the end of that, I'm going to play, 19 twice on the 1st string and then add a semitone bend. At the end of that, jumping to 20 of the 2nd and then adding some sexy vibrato. It's a bend, isn't it? On 22 of the 1st string. And that is all of the last section. So keep in mind, we're going to use that 12 from the end of section 3 and work through these cheeky open triads. Let's take it slowly from the start and then do it again, even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. And that was the first of 3 solos from Dystopia by Megadeth. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And please click the links in the description box to my Facebook group, my Patreon, and my sexy new Udemy course. And once again, obviously, we've got 3 solos to get through, so stay tuned for part 2 and part 3 of this series. It's going to be a doozy. Always a pleasure to share my time with you guys. Take care. I'll catch you very soon.